correct spelling my name. Hello to everyone. I'm so pleased to be invited to this event. Looking forward hearing your presentations. Two of the three projects I'm following as the Joint Secretariat Project Manager, so I know them by heart, and but I'm very eager to hear from them. There's no travel. We don't visit the meetings, the events, so this is a very good opportunity also for me to listen from them firsthand. So yeah, I'm following also many other projects from Priority Access 4. I wanted just to give you some bigger picture on program level. Just that you know that we from the program are financing in total 18 projects. 5 of them standard plus, they have already finished. And in implementation, currently we have 10 standard projects dealing with maritime transport. And 3 strategic projects also dealing with maritime transport. So that's the big picture. And there is around 50 million of euros allocated to the transport project. So it's a huge amount. The effects we will see in few minutes and intended outputs and pilot actions. So far, the projects have reached 2 new links. 4 harmonized services for passengers were put in place. 12 improved multimodal transport services. These are all kinds of services, from mobility as a service to intermodal links and new links that haven't been established prior to this program. So very exciting outputs. Many of them have a approach towards sustainability and reducing the carbon footprint. Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to share with you, and I think this interests many of you, so that currently, as you know, all Interreg programs are dealing with the next programming period and drafting their Interreg programs. We had some bumpy roads ahead of us. So at one moment, it was not even sure if the maritime programs will survive. Fortunately, they survived, and I'm happy to say that also in the next programming period, the transport is recognized and as one of the priorities for financing through Italy-Croatia CBC programs. So it's still in drafting phase. It's not official, but all the documents and decisions made so far give us hope that transport will be financed also. That is all. I know you have a packed agenda, so I won't steal any time from your very interesting event. And yeah, happy to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful news. I know that we are all very happy that transport will be there for the next period. We believe, of course, that it's a very crucial and should be there. Thank you very much for this information. So before starting, I would like just to remind to all the speakers that you have strictly 10 minutes for your presentations because we don't want to be late. And please have in mind that something like that, this paper will be uploaded in the screen for the last 3 minutes. So let's start with our first presenter. I will give the floor to Stefano Caponyani from Municipality of Ancona, project manager of eChain project, for his presentation. Mr. Caponyani, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your introduction. I'm gonna share my screen right now with the presentation. Okay, can you see the full screen presentation? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Stefano Campanari, and I represent the municipality of Ancona, that is the leader of the e-chain project, a project funded by Interreg program. And I'm going to present briefly the objective of our project, starting from the partner involved. As you can see, there are different partners coming from private sector, but also public sector. So we have companies like Amatori, Brusutti, GMT, Ratman, but we also have Jadrolina with us, that is the biggest Croatian sea shipping company, and then municipality of Ancona, municipality of Split, and two universities, Trieste and Rijeka. Also, the target group is composed by a large audience. Different stakeholders are involved, general public, but also regional development agencies, transport enterprises, NGOs. So we have a based or a large audience. The acronym of e-chain means enhanced connectivity and harmonization of data for the Adriatic intermodal network. And the overall e-chain project objective is to enhance the connectivity of data for the Adriatic intermodal network through a platform, our website platform, that is going to be called e-chain. That is a platform that aims to increase the services for passengers in the Adriatic area, but also to improve environmental sustainability of marine and coastal transport services in general. These services will be designed and developed in three selected pilot sites that are Ancona, Split, and Venice. So we are mostly focused on these three pilot sites. And at the end of the project, a business model according with the needs of each pilot site will be developed. So there will be like a business model for each pilot site. More generally, e-chain will allow integration between different systems and services for multimodal transport. So it will do it providing different trip solutions, timetable, but also informing about real-time events happening in the city center or in close to port area for the passenger that are traveling or that are waiting for their train or boat. Then at the same time will provide, will increase, let's say, will improve multimodal infomobility system, especially in the port area and in the city centers. For example, installing a digital totem with a touch screen that will inform passenger about the schedule of their trip and about any news, any late, whatever can happen. Then will facilitate the purchase by redirecting to booking services or ticketing services from the platform, so to these other pages, all the users that will use the platform. And last but not least, will the platform aim to increase the awareness of the CO2 travel emission, because it will inform all the users about the CO2 emission of their trip. So the platform, the main output of the platform is to include touristic and co-marketing tools inside the platform to inform the travelers about the timetable and the different options with different operators, to promote the cities, the point of interest, and the events in the real time, starting from the pilot sites, and to provide data about the trip, about the transport, but also to assist the traveler during their trip, before the departure, during their trip, and then after the travel. We are thinking of sending SMS or using different other option of communication to inform the travelers about their trip. And then to interface with local system for multimodality and intermodality. So let's say that the main service for the user will be the planning of the trip from the point A to point B, integrating all way of transportation, train, and buses and ferries, giving the logistic information and calculating the cheapest and the fastest, but also the most eco-friendly travel solution, because the emission of each solution will be at least an average of the CO2 emission will be indicated. And then the other main point for the users is that digital totems will be installed in the cities. And after the project, a business plan for each pilot site will be developed. And with this business model, we wanna provide a potential solution to make the platform economically sustainable, but also scalable. And so the idea is to start with the pilot site, and then to make the platform scalable and develop it in other cities, in other areas. We still have almost a year, and the project is going to end in June 2022. And let's say that we are now focused in the technical working packages, especially the 4 and the 5, and so we are basically building the infrastructure of the platform, and hopefully next time we'll be able to show you also some example, let's say some draft of the design of the platform. This is all. My time is done, and thank you very much for your time, for your attention. Here you can see our contact. If you need to contact us, if you want to share something with us, feel free to write us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for respecting also the time. It was a very interesting presentation of eChain project. Please don't forget to write in the chat box your questions in order to all the presenters to review them and send their answers afterwards. Now we will continue again with eChain project and Infomobility Services Stakeholders Needs. It's the title of the presentation, and I give the floor to Nelita Pogacic for the presentation. 10 minutes also, Ms. Pogacic, for you.
Yes, good morning to all participants in this joint communication event. My name is Nelita Pogacic, and I'm representing company ProSoft, which is the technology partner in eChain product. I am glad, I will try to share the screen now, so you can fasten up. Yeah, this is one. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm very glad to have the opportunity to share with you some results of our activities we carry out in the course of eChain project. ProSoft is a privately owned IT company which founded some 25 years ago, and we have experience providing a lot of experience in providing specialized IT consulting and implementation services. Our companies come from various business sectors, mostly from transport and logistics, but especially maritime transport. We provide information engineering services, including management and consultancy services for IS development, communication engineering and networking, consulting, and technical support for IS management. In e-chain problem, we as a technology partner, we are involved in all technical activities of e-chain projects, from mobility maritime design through implementation of platform and service, and integration of services. What we are going to talk about today is this first part of it's about stakeholders' requirements and transport needs. Today I would like to present you some of the results obtained by all the partners of e-chain project through key stakeholders interviews conducted in the last quarter of 2020. We researched, whether there is an interest in participating in the e-chain project, which modules they consider most needed, and what are the functional requirements need to meet. Furthermore, we want you to find out what is the level of readiness of the main participant in passenger transport for integration of multimodal services, especially in port areas, as well as the main limitations for bigger availability of multimodal solutions. We were also interested in know how developed is the awareness of the impact of the port traffic on CO2 emissions. Who answered our questionnaires? About 60 stakeholders from both sides of the Adriatic Sea relevant to the project were interviewed. You may see on the left side of the slide that all the target groups are represented, and they belong to organizations from transport association, organization, and services through to education and research institution. We were focused on the pilot sites of the projects, meaning Ancona, Venice, and Split. But we also got answers from Zadar, which is another big passenger hub, and from Trieste and Rijeka, of course, as our partners, our university partners are situated there. As expected, the largest number of stakeholders belongs to the group of transport services and connected services, and that was fine with us. Oh yes, maybe I need to go back. Yes, on the right side, there is a range of services our stakeholders provide. You can see all the services were also represented. In terms of footprints, traffic itself through CO2 emissions has on climate changes and local pollution on cities. Our assumptions that respondents are aware of the impact, and that they are aware of that improving the efficacy of passenger transport will have positive impacts on the reduction of CO2 emission in high frequency coastal areas are really fully endorsed by stakeholders. More than 90% of them responded positively on that. It is not the case with the knowledge of IT solutions supporting the reduction of CO2 emissions in the Adriatic Sea. Quite opposite. Even 76% of responders said they were not familiar with any of such platforms. But this was a good indication for us to design and develop each platform, which will provide passengers information on the level of CO emission on the route, in terms of choosing different options with different combination of transport modes. And of course, to give them information about local transport congestions, car parks, and other relevant information that affects CO2 emissions. We also asked our stakeholders to assess the current degree of integration of their services and what are the major obstacles for greater integration. Well, as you see, more than 3/4 of them said that the level of integration is either low, medium, or non-existent. And citing business policies, level of technical and technology readiness, and development costs as the main reasons for that. Expressed interest of different for different e-chain modules suggests that there is a need and willingness for further integration and collaboration between transport operators, government authorities, tourist boards, and other participants in the integrated services. And here's a bit, this slide just shows the function area that interest and how they was expressed. One set of questions were related to informability. Regarding informability module in passengers port hubs, stakeholders point out that priority contents are these shown, namely timetables, travel solution, real-time events, points of interest, car park, and help desk. They should be available through web, totem, or interactive info panel and mobile application to provide passengers with all timely information they need during their journey. The main stakeholder requirements for the traffic solution is resource optimization. And we've got some interesting reflections from them on the ways in which multimodal solutions affect optimization of resources, which can be summarized as shown. By offering travel route options with reduced CO2 emissions, of course, by timetables optimization, reducing travel time and decreasing time to organize travel as well. And by connecting carriers and capacities, the offerings of new seamless services will grow significantly. The last but not the least, the cost and price of services optimization, of course. As if you're speaking about real-time events, the aim is to inform the passengers in a timely manner about new circumstances that affect the course of their journey, giving them possible solutions as well. When I speak about real-time events, I point out just that obvious about delays, cancellations, but also about for example, natural disasters, accidents, or other events. Well, communication channels were shown, web info panel, and personalized direct messaging to passenger via emails and SMS calls. And the last content we point out in this presentation are touristic services. We want to provide all passengers one single spot with all information suggesting available options to their travel, or mainly during the stay or waiting for continuation of their journey in the maritime passenger ports. Example, the points of interest. It's interesting. I think the queue time could be crucial information for passengers wanted to visit some of the locations in the portal area. Then the transport options, eco-friendly transport options like bike, electric scooters, public transport, and taxi services information. I pointed out here car parks because they are very important especially for Split, where the traffic congestions during the season is their biggest issue. So the information about available parking slots and their location is crucial for them. Another information is interesting about, of course, catering and accommodation, and information about emergency services as well. Well, I will stop here and say thank you to all of you for listening to me, and of course in chat you can put some questions if you are interested in more detail about the topic we are presented today. Thank you very much.
Thank you also very much, Ms. Pogacic. It's very interesting to know what are the main information that the users needs. So yes, please also put your questions as regard this presentation in the chat box, and let me continue with the next project, the presentation of ICARUS project overview and public transport in post-COVID time. I will give the floor to Eleonora Chu from Institute for Transport and Logistics for her presentation. 10 minutes for you, Eleonora.
Thank you very much, Maria. I'm not able to share my screen at this moment. Okay, actually, let me see. Okay. Okay, so can you all see my full screen?
Yes, everything's fine.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eleonora Tu, and I'm the coordinator of the ICARUS project. So in these 10 minutes, I will just try to give you a very short project overview, and then I will let some of our pilot actions speak for themselves and for the results of the project itself. But I would also like to give you a short overview of a research that we conducted within Italy and specifically within Emilia-Romagna region to understand what was the impact of the pandemic, and actually draw some general consideration about what can affect these trends and how to deal with the COVID-19 effects. So ICARUS is also an Interreg Italy-Croatia project, and we try to focus on testing and creating new intermodal solutions, and that's because we do believe that intermodality and in the future mobility as a service, that is MaaS, will be the way to allow users to flexibly move around. In fact, right now, what we see as one of the main problems, of course, is the use of the private cars, but actually the the point is that there is no alternative to these private cars. And I think we all do experience that. Maybe some of us would like to use public transport or go by bike, but some places are just not within reach or accessible within these means. So what we can do is sometimes not to activate directly a new line, but we can use different transport means and combine them to reach the destination that we want. So as I was saying, we try to promote intermodal connections between Italy and Croatia, and also within the regions that are our project partners. What we would also like to do is to focus on innovative technologies to allow for multimodality and mass to actually take place and allow seamless transport. So we have 3 pillars for our project, which are ICT, so mobility as a service, which I have already mentioned. Behavioral change, obviously people need to be, let's say, nudged and encouraged to use new and more sustainable transport means, and also the promotion of obviously new transport services and intermodality. So here I have a list of the pilot actions that we have within our project, and they are really encompassing a lot of different fields and topics. I'll just list them very quickly. So we have installed different bike train facilities in various train stations in Friuli Venezia Giulia. This activity has already been completed, but is underway for more train stations. We have activated a cross-border intermodal service between Friuli Venezia Giulia and Croatia. This will allow actually bike users to move around and to actually take advantage of the season. This is currently ongoing. Then we'll hear a little bit more about this transnational corridor in the North Adriatic axis, which is going to be presented by Viu very quickly in the next few interventions. We have integrated ticketing system in Croatia. We have created an informational website with information about intermodality between Italy and Croatia. We are developing with Emilia-Romagna region a platform which is connected to their dynamic travel planner to understand what is the environmental load of different trips. Then after my presentation, we'll hear from Region Istria from IDA, what they're developing in the Istria region in terms of bike and train intermodality. And also we have the Metropolitan City of Venice, which has developed an ICT platform, but also has developed intermodal facilities. And later on, Abruzzo and Arab will describe their pilot action tools. So just to go over the effects of COVID-19 on mobility, as I said before, we have conducted this research within Emilia-Romagna and within Italy. And I think we all have the experience of COVID-19 as being, especially to 2020, as a period where we had multiple lockdowns, which obviously were different from country to country, but have limited very strictly our mobility patterns. So actually, we have noticed that, for example, in Italy, and these are data that we got from Google Mobility, but also from other surveys that were done in Italy, there was obviously a very steep drop in the demand volumes, but also in the trips that were made. So, for example, we had a 65% decrease of the trips observed in passengers. This trend has actually continued over the several lockdowns that were implemented in 2020. And here, again, you can see some of the trends which were broken down by spots or places where people usually go to. Obviously, restaurants, bars, shopping centers, and entertainment areas have seen a drop of over 43% of trips. This drop was a little bit was just very little for supermarkets, agricultural markets, because people still need to eat. We worry a lot about the fact that public transportation hubs and actually all public transport means have seen a very, again, steep decline of 49%. This is particularly concerning because we obviously want people to trust and feel safe when they move around and actively choose alternative means to the car. So what we can see from here, though, and from the results that we got from our report, is that these were actually just a result from the lockdowns. So actually what's going to happen in the future is that people still need to move around, possibly. They will have the choice, obviously, to choose what kind of mean they would like to employ, but still it's not that they will decide not to move because of COVID. So our challenge here, and I think it's a challenge for all the projects that that have joined forces today, is to promote this new concept of actually not so new maybe, but the concept of sustainable mobility, and encourage again people to use intermodal services because they're effective, they work actually. And finally, here I have two drawings that we got from a contest that we made with students, and I think it's very clear that especially future generations are very much aware of the fact that cars are not very good for the environment, and they would like to have different or alternative transport means and a greener environment. Anyway, what we really want to underline and highlight here is that intermodality can be an effective solution to allow for the flexibility of users. That flexibility that cannot be given just by one transport mean, but with a combination of different transport means, and probably can also be competitive in terms of price as well. And that being said, I will just leave the floor to my colleagues from the project, and I hope you will find our results interesting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eleonora.
Sorry, Maria, just 1 second. You skipped one presentation.
Yes.
Okay.
This is I understood that. Yeah. So I want to say that it was an excellent presentation. Thank you very much. I like very much the last slide with the pictures, the figures. Yes, indeed. I'm very sorry. I will give now the floor to Ms. Miladen Koturovic. Very sorry for skipping this to present us the Infomobility Services current scenario, needs and improvement from e-chain project. So the floor is yours.
Just to check if you see the screen.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Thank you, great. Hello to everyone. My name is Mladen Koturovic. I'm from the partner in e-chain of Jadrolinija. I will talk a little bit about objectives and vision of this project from the Jadrolinija part. So just a few words about Jadrolinija, who for colleagues who from abroad, from other projects. So Jadrolinija is the Croatia largest shipping company and the oldest shipping company. We connect 99% of islands in Croatia, and we have experience. We have roots also in the international way. So It's very old company. We have a very long tradition in maritime passenger transport, and it's crucial connection and crucial company for everyday life of our islanders. We have a very seasonal business. We are very connected in one big part of tourism in Croatia, and our main objective is to support all connections to the island and international, and to make our passengers happy and safe. So just something about numbers. During the years, I will not talk about 2020, but in the regular seasons and regular years, we operate 34 lines in domestic transport. We operate 3 international lines to Italy. Also, we have a connection to Montenegro in season from Bar to Bari. And there is 12.5 million passengers and 3 million of vehicles that we transport every year. We have 1,800 employees, which is 75% of seamen, and we have 600 voyages per day in the peak season. Peak season for us is August. So there is a huge engine behind this operation. Our solutions, which will be showed in the next slide, have to be smart, fast, safe, reliable, secure, and it's a lot of challenge and a lot of energy to operate such a large IT system. So this is small picture of our system solutions from the very top. So E-Train helped us to recognize what is before and what is after our system. So it's one very great, it's very good opportunity for us to see what is going on before our journey and after our journey. Because of the complexity of our system solutions, it took us a lot of time to think about new architecture, to adopt our systems to make this system intermodal. So we started in early 2015 to think about this when we entered the European Union after 2013. But in 2015 we thought about that we have to integrate, we have to exchange information with our partners and with our clients around Europe, especially between Italy and Croatia. So E-Train came to us as a great opportunity to think about this train, because we are one part of the train, maybe the biggest in this business and operation, but that was great opportunity to understand the needs of our passengers, what they think about this journey before and where they go. It's very important to us to understand our passengers. It's very important to us to make them happy. It's very important to us not just to connect them from point A to point B, but to think about what they accept from us and what they want to present them when they get to their points. So we have a various solutions where can our passenger collect information, and we have various solutions to purchase a journey. This on this slide is shown something that is usually done. Everyone who was on holidays in Croatia know our point of sale, ticket sales offices. We have also a website and mobile app which was introduced 2 years ago. I talk about mobile app, and we have some prepaid cards like this Jadrolinija to go card. It speeds up the boarding process, but to aware this to our daily passengers, daily users, E-Train helped us to understand their everyday needs. So our latest projects on this field was interactive sailing schedules with real-time information, ticket purchasing machines, online prepaid account top-up. So we think about just to speed up system speed up boarding, just a lot less interaction with our staff, and to make our passengers easier. And the most important thing that we think about and work about is sales channels integration with our external partners. E-Train helped here a lot to meet us on a regular basis to better understand our needs between our partners, and so our main vision and our main goal is to introduce in our system one intermodal part of it, so we can close this trade and offer to the market one closed service. So multiple service in one ticket, it's our main goal for the next for the future and for the next part of this project. So E-Train helped a lot to make some connection with our partners on the scientific manner to understand what is passenger needs, what is our needs, and what our partners have to say in this multimodal connectivity. You can find everything about our company and our services in our channels. So that was all from me. Thank you very much, and see you on the vacation. If you have any question, please just ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kochurovic. It's really very important to say that during these projects, there are real needs of companies and passengers that are going, let's say, to be answered, and some solutions to be developed. Very good results indeed. So now we will continue with the ICARUS project. I will give the floor to Lucio Rubini from Venice International University for presenting us bike, train, ferry transnational corridor from Venice to Pula. Mr. Rubini, the floor is yours. We can see your presentation already.
Okay. Can you hear me as well?
Yes.
Good. So good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure to be here to present our activities. I'm going to manage this presentation along with my colleague Samuel Fattorelli, to whom I will leave the floor after a short introduction about the goal and the content of our pilots for the ICARUS project. So the activities of VIU, my name is Lucio Rubini and I work for VIU, is a Venice International University, is a consortium of 20 university based, the compound of the universities based in Venice. And I work for the TEDIS department with that deals with the transport, logistics and mobility project. Sorry, just a very brief introduction on our organization. So going to the pilot of ICARUS, VIU had the task of understanding and testing in concrete a bike route from Italy to Croatia. And I'm going to show in the next slide the results of this concrete test of the route. In the past months, we had an intensive survey with all the bike tour operators that offer and organize bike tour between Italy and Croatia, for having, let's say, the point of view of the private operators to this topic. The aim was to investigate who are the main players from the private side, what they are offering, and which are the main tour offered by these operators. After this on the field survey with the operators through basically interviews, more or less 20-25 interviews were performed, we had the opportunity to identify the best tour to be tested in concrete this summer, and the goal of the test. That means we try to have to identify a bike tour from Italy to Croatia, in which there will be the opportunity, to combine cycling with multimodal transport. After designing the tour and after selecting the providers that support us in the organization of the tour, we had on the field test during the summer between June and July. So the team is made up of 3 researchers from VIU with other friends and partners from ICARUS. And then going in deep with the detail of the pilot goals. Again, we would like to have an overview of the cyclotourism offer between Italy and Croatia in terms of routings and in terms of what is already codified, let's say, in terms of regional and national cycle routes, which are the services and the multimodal transport supporting this the cycling, the bike tours. After designing the route, we had the test. During the test, we had a concrete, let's say, perception of the different criteria in which we put the focus on the analysis that was both qualitative and quantitative. Okay, I will leave the floor to Samuel, who is going to present the test and the stages made up of the test. And Samuel, the floor is yours.
This is Samuel Fattorelli, and I'm going to do the presentation to talk about the bike tour. Our bike tour took us from Venice to Porridge through 6 stages, through different territories, and we had the opportunity to test different type of ferry boat transfer, both public and private vehicles. Next one. Yes. The start was from Venice to Jesolo, and we took the ferry boat after reached Tronchetto from Ponte della Libertà, and going to Lido. In Lido, we had a shift on Punta Sabbioni, and follow to along Pordelio Canal to reach Jesolo. And okay, the second stage was on the next.
Okay, next one. Sorry.
Yes. The second stage was from Jesolo to Portogruaro. We leave the coast behind us and we crossing the Piave Valley and cycling along Lipenza and Loncon and the main river to reach Portogruaro. During this stage, we visit the Caponyani cycle station, a very interesting project of regeneration on an old warehouse, and now is a place when they rent a bike and kayak to visit the surrounding. And please can go on. This is Caponyani. Okay. On the third stage, we reached Grado, and we took another motorboat in Marano Lagunare. This one was a private vehicle, and after that we're cycling to Aquileia, and at the finish of the stage we reached Grado. Okay. The next. On the 1st July, we start to Grado and arrive on Trieste, crossing the Valle Cavanata, a natural reserve, and the biotope of Cavanna River. After this part, we follow the coastal road to reach Trieste with a steps in Miramar Castle and Bartola. Okay, this is Miramar. After Trieste, we took a motorboat, Delfino Verde, in Trieste to reach Muggia, and this allowed to skip the industrial district between Trieste and Muggia. We reach Slovenia through the Parenzana, and we stop in Piran. Okay, this is the Fino Verde. In the finish of our route, we reach Porec along the Istrian coast. We stop in Novigrad, and after that we took a shuttle bus to way back on Venice, because the alternative on ferry boat is not realized this season due to COVID.
Okay, Samuel, I'm going to share also a very short clip.
Yes.
Just for describing the mood of the travel of the tour.
Here we see a short video shoot after leaving Grado behind us and cycling along the coast. Okay. To reach Monfalcone, near Lido of Grado. Okay, here we see the coast.
Okay.
I give you the word back.
Okay, just for concluding this part of the description, we were very lucky because most of the day was sunny. We had a lot of fun, but actually it was also the opportunity for have the very concrete survey on which are the what we call bottlenecks, that it's in a wide way for identify which works and which doesn't work in this tour. We identify basically some bottlenecks under the infrastructural point of view in terms of cycling equipment, especially in the first part of the trip. The ferryboat transport in Venice were very poor in terms of equipment for storing bicycles, and besides the equipment, also the service was not perfectly designed for matching the bikers' needs. But actually, for the multimodal transport, this was the main infrastructural gap and bottlenecks. Concerning the wayfinding, we had experiences of some links of the tour with a huge wayfinding, sometimes confusing because it was more or less different operators that installed different wayfinding for the same things, let's say. So it's not a unique way for describing the way of the tour. In other cases, we had the opportunity to see that the wayfinding was very poor. So we had the opportunity to have, in some cases, some very, confusing and redundant wayfinding. In other cases, poor signs for the bike tours. We had the opportunity to also consider the train transfer to get Trieste, but we prefer to maintain the bike route because the opportunity to get the train was not so interesting comparing to the bike tour. So the main bottlenecks, in this case, was not in the design of the service or in the equipment, but in the appealing of the train options comparing to the bike options. In many cases, we had a lot of troubles. In many cases, not so much, but in some cases, we had some safety issues in which, as you can easily understand, the bike lanes was mixed with the street with a high level of traffic, and this basically was clear in terms of safety for cycling. And some consideration about the organization of the tour, this for the private tour organization point of view, we see that there was an unbalanced load of distances in the different stages of the tour. Some days was very loaded in terms of distances, other days was very poor, and this was a little bit unbalanced and not so perfectly designed. And the main let's say bottlenecks for concluding the tour is that this is the case of this year. We didn't have the opportunity to get the ferry from Porridge to Venice on the way back. So we can say that we didn't have the full experiences of the tour, because the way back was through a transfer with van. So some recommendation, going to the last part of the presentation.
Please, we should conclude. We are over.
For the public administrators, basically regional bodies, we see some improvements under the public transport equipment and service design. There are some missing links as well, and to perform a better and coherent wayfinding along the route. We recommend somehow to link the promotion of other regional routes starting from this route from Venice to Porridge, and on the other hand, to improve and to encourage somehow the development of some bake station during the route. On the other hand, from the public point of view, we see the need for the public bodies to implement awareness of the market on the current state of the cycle tourism connection on the different chain operators, from the rental operators to the bike tour operators and as well. To the private, that means the dialogue that we had with all the private tour operators, we had some recommendation to better set up the accommodation, because in many cases we don't have a high level of services for bikes. We suggest some integration of the services with a more attention on environmental, landscape, and historical point of interest during the route. And as I've already said before, a better distribution of this session during the route. That's all. We are running the conclusion, so it's, in progress, still in progress.
Thank you very much. I really couldn't stop you because it was very interesting. I've stopped to count the kilometers that you ride with your bicycles. Impressive indeed, and of course it's a good opportunity if we can have pilots in many let's say routes like you did. We will have also real recommendations, and maybe it will be an opportunity for using the bike for intermodal trips. Thank you very much. I will go on now with the next presentation again from ICARUS project, and I will give the floor to Silvia Palladini from ARAP for presenting us a travel planner app for cross-border journeys between Abruzzo region and Croatia. Ms. Palladini, the floor is yours. We can see your presentation.
Good morning to everyone. I am Silvia Palladini from ARAP. In ARAP, I am EU project coordinator. ARAP is a regional agency for productive activities created for the development of Abruzzo territory. ARAP offers general service to the productive activities in Abruzzo, and with a focus on the transport service, goods and passengers. ARAP gives a contribution to the growth and competitiveness of the Abruzzo territory. ARAP is able to develop ICT service thanks its expertise. ARAP offers solution for transport, in particular for the connection of hinterland and coast. As you know, ARAP is partner in ICARUS project, and during the project, ARAP developed a local pilot action. Abruzzo are a strategical reference point for Abruzzo, thanks to their location within the Adriatic corridor. ARAP pilot action main objectives are to facilitate users' accessibility, to increase Abruzzo and Croatia attractiveness, and to stimulate Abruzzo and Croatia connections. To achieve these objectives, ARAP developed an app called Epitravel. EpiTravel provides real-time information on mode of transports, ticketing, information regarding touristic and cultural point of interest.
We cannot hear you.
Users can download EpiTravel from Android or iOS system store. And this time users enter in the app, they can have a short and easy presentation on how to use the app. The application, thanks to the application, users will be able to find the best travel solution, integrating urban, extra-urban, and national lines, and different mode of transport. Users will be also able to learn information on timetables, near lines and stops, and have real-time information on arrivals and departures. Thanks to EpiTravel, users can avoid going to the ticket office, directly storing tickets in smartphone. The application offers a lot of information on the thematic circuits. For example, touristic circuits to explore the attraction of the two countries. Thematic circuits to discover history, culture, and spiritual lives of the areas. Outdoor circuits to explore the main outdoor opportunities for bike, motorcycle, excursions, and other sports activities. EpiTravel is like a digital guide. You can also find information on festivals and events to discover local tastes and traditions. This is EpiTravel homepage. You have, when you enter, you have two opportunities: plan your trip or discover a new place to visit. If you choose plan your trip, in the field from, you have to indicate the place of departure, and in the field to, you have to indicate the place of destination. After entering two valid cities, the user can find the transport companies that connect the two cities by simply clicking on the search button. A list of different modes of transport appear on the result page, containing the name of the transport companies and their vehicles. By pressing on one of these items, the user will be redirected to the company's website, where they can check availability of tickets and buy them. If you choose in the home page the field search destination, at the top you will have 5 buttons available. Clicking on one of them will show the point of interest related to that category. For example, ecotourism, attractions, hotel, food, and events.
Silvia, can you talk a bit closer to the microphone?
The point of interest will appear. Now?
We cannot hear you really
The point
well.
of interest will appear below with a detailed description on how you can to explore and see. Happy travel is a new way to travel and discover territory in a smart way, and overall in respect of the environment, thanks to the precious support of digital technology. The app, we hope the app is a tool for informing people about point of interest, stimulating tourism in the areas. I want to conclude my presentation with the exhortation: plan the route that suits you best.
Thank you
Thanks
very
to
much.
everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. Palladini. There were some troubles with the sound, but I think that, okay, we have all understood what it was developed here, and it was really very interesting, as there is an application that someone can also buy the tickets and give all the relevant information for the points of interest and also other information for visiting specific areas. Thank you very much. So now we will have the last but not least presentation of ICARUS project from Ms. Claudia Pucis from Eastern Development Agency, Intermodality Promotion in Istria. I give the floor to Ms. Claudia Pucis, but we cannot see your presentation, but
hi.
Hello.
I cannot still start sharing because some other participant is sharing screen. So I think Silvia, maybe Omi should stop.
Ms. Palladini, can you please stop sharing your screen?
Okay.
Okay, now?
Do you see now?
Okay, yes, yes.
Okay. Hello, everybody. In the name of Eastern Development Agency, I will present new intermodal services for sustainable mobility between Italy and Croatia, and our pilot project that is getting finalized in this year. So I'm going to talk about the pilot, about sustainable solutions between coast and hinterland, specifically talking about Eastern region a bit, the main focus on bike and train. Also, I'll talk about the importance of stakeholders, COVID situation, our behavior change events, and finally, the results and potential for follow-up project. So about the pilot, we were focused on a railway route from Pula to Buzet, which is on the north of Istria, because actually it connects coast, hinterland, and the north. But in the same time, we heard that from Caponyani, if you can see it in the middle of the route, new cycling route is being developed. So we have decided to make intermodal solutions and connection so that travelers who use bicycles can go with the train from Pula to Buzet, and then from Caponyani or other train station to the coast. And then there is a lot of possibility to continue to travel to Italy. So in that way, we wanted to connect our cross-border region. Why we had to talk with stakeholders? Because we are development agency and we are not decision makers. So there were municipalities who were included in the project, City of Rumin and Caponyani as project managers of their new cycling route, which was before a railway route before. Istrian region as a decision-making body, Pazin and Lupoglav cities who participated also in our pilot action, and last but not least were Croatian railways, because in coordination with this body we had to arrange and make our agreement about the existing train, which will be, let's say, renewed and enabled to a new bike transfers from point A to point B. So here is an agreement, and we actually agreed that this new train will start its route from those cities, and the Eastern Development Agency will make promotion of cycling and combination of transports. Also, we have included the city of Pazin, which is on the route of this railway, and we have ordered e-bikes, so promoting micro-mobility and other solutions which are actually really suitable for a COVID-19 situation. And also information panel who would give the other transport possibilities information for all travelers. Also, City of Rech participated in this project because in our one project before, they have ordered the electric bike, and either participated in this bike rack, which will enable combination of bus and bike transport. And finally, municipality of Lupoglav in the hinterland of Istria also introduced e-bikes in their new offer, so that we could connect bike and train solution. This is the new, let's say, almost final phase of this train, which is not still in Pula, but it will arrive at the beginning of October. Today they told us that they are starting with the test drive. So with this new train will be enable the bike transport and combination of bikes and trains. Also, we wanted to raise the conscious and share the new experiences, possibilities, and multimodality options with behavior and change and dissemination events. We had an online webinar, Discover Istria by Bike, in which we presented all possibilities, how you can discover Istria and later on cross-border region with cycling and driving with the train. And also during the pandemic, respecting all the pandemic measures which were in force, we organized a storytelling event, and on a really innovative and interesting way we represented actually this new route and the multimodal solutions that will actually, let's say, start and fully be in as an offer from this October. Now I will show you a promotional video and actually some kind of a resume of all I said before. And before the video ends, I will just say that this project and this pilot that we had within ICARUS project already had follow-up activities, because within MIMOSA project, IDA also had 2 pilots, and that will be via Istra platform and smart card solutions application will enable to to have online reservations for the transport. So enjoy the video. I don't know if you have heard, but there is a music on the video. I'm sorry if you haven't hear it. We will announce it at the beginning of October when the train starts to travel via Rovigna as final point, because also from Rovigna you can go to Italy with the boat. I would like to say that it was pretty nice pilot, and hopefully we also are looking forward. This was, let's say, one kind of touristic product, but in the future we are also looking forward to implement some new alternative solutions for mobility. Would it be e-mobility or hydrogen or else? We are open to discuss it and later on maybe write some new projects. So if there are any questions, we are here.
Thank you very much. So after bike and boat, now it's bike and train. Very interesting also solution for touristic purposes and not only. I believe that after all these great pictures and after all this presentation, after the event, we will all take our bikes and go to the country, but okay. Very, I hope that we will have the opportunity, all of us, to travel like that with intermodality between soft and sustainable modes. So let's go now to the other project, to Mimosa. We will have firstly the project overview from Paolo Di Leno from CEI. Paolo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria.
See your presentation.
Thank you, Maria. Good morning, everyone. It is a real pleasure for me to briefly introduce you the main challenges we are currently tackling in the framework of the Mimosa project. Few words regarding me. I'm project manager at the Central European Initiative. The organization I'm honored to represent today is an international organization composed by 17 member states, of course, including Croatia as well, which main aim is to promote integration among countries. Integration can be a sort of abstract concept, and we use different tools in order to concretely implement this mission. One of these tools is implementing EU projects, because they, especially in the framework of transport, we can, of course, improve the quality of mobility for the citizens in our area. It is also a pleasure to present Mimosa right after the presentation from Claudia from Eastern Development Agency, because I think it clearly represents the natural flow of activities. One innovative pilot action developed in the framework of ICARUS project that has already demonstrated its added value becomes now the starting point of additional initiatives in order to enhance intermodality in the region. So I think this is also the added value of international cooperation and the Interreg projects. Having a look at the general picture of the Mimosa project, I would like to mention from the early beginning that it is a strategic project, meaning that a huge number of partners have joined this challenge. 18 partners from the whole cross-border area are part of this project, and this is also reflected in the relevance of the budget that we were assigned, as more than 7 million euros to implement all the action foreseen in the project. The project aims at improving the quality of passenger mobility in the cross-border area, and the expected outcomes of this project were particularly acknowledged also by the as of strategic importance for the European strategy for the Adriatic and Ionian region, which labeled this project as of strategic importance, as said. The starting point, our challenges are starting, of course, from the same, partially from the same issues that were already presented this morning. We know very well that the passenger transport is characterized by, in the cross-border area, by, let's say, self-organization of transport from the point of view of the users, and there is a predominance of private mobility, private cars mobility that has, of course, a negative environmental impact in the whole area. At the same time, we would like to better understand the reasons why people self-organize in private modalities to travel between the countries, and we would like in particular to better understand which are the bottlenecks in multimodal connections, and which is the state of these networks as when it comes to multimodality, because we are aware that all these aspects can have a significant impact also in terms of economic activities in the Italy-Croatia area. Which is our methodology. We have divided our activities into 3 main groups of activity. At the beginning, we started by focusing on better understanding the passenger behavior and passenger demand. We would like to better understand, as I said, how the transport services are organized and why people self-organize for traveling between the 2 countries. We know that we have an additional issue in this period that we have to face, that is the COVID-19, which of course, as was already mentioned by Eleonora, has significantly affected the passenger transportation and public transport in particular. This is also a field of analysis for MIMOSA as well. One of the core activities of the MIMOSA project is also the testing phase. We have a lot of initiatives to promote innovative, sustainable solutions for promoting multimodality and mobility of passengers in the cross-border areas. And this testing phase includes investments, soft measures, and different kind, and also analysis, as for example, feasibility studies regarding new connections between the 2 countries. Based on the knowledge we will gain in these 2 groups of activities, we will also set up a cooperation network with the key stakeholders in the area in order not only to discuss the issue, but also to share the vision for capitalizing the results we will achieve, and at the same time for designing a roadmap to further promote the cooperation and the improvement of mobility in the cross-border area. Here you have a general picture of all the solutions we are currently implementing in all the region and partners, 3 of which will be presented later on today. As I said, we have a wide series of pilot actions, soft ones, maybe studies, but we are also focusing a lot on ICT. We saw the example of IDA before, so also in this sense, a follow-up will be this smart card for improving multimodal and bike sharing in the Istria region. But at the same time, we are also running concrete services. For example, a new maritime connection has linked two cities in Friuli Venezia Giulia region this summer. And as I said before, we are also studying the possibility to link with LNG powered ships the coast of Abruzzo with Croatia. More details will be presented by partners later on, so I don't go in detail on this. Which are the results we expect? As I said, the main focus will be also to better understand the demand, how is composed the demand, which are the characteristics, and which are the drivers of passenger behaviors. At the same time, we have already delivered a database that provides a wide set of information regarding the supply, the existing services, and this is an online tool already available, and you can check it on our website. Through concrete pilot actions and investment, we would like to test innovative solutions for improving the quality of regional and cross-border connectivity. So this will be for sure a concrete result of MIMOSA project with the main aim of improving and enhancing the sustainable mobility options available at regional and at local level, but taking into account also that we need to also work on improving the maritime connections between the two countries, and at the same time to consider intermodality in terms of bike and maritime services, but also when it comes to the ports, also the maritime hinterland connectivity as regards passenger services. As said, this cannot be done without the support of the stakeholders. So on January next year, at the activity of stakeholders involvement will start. We will have meetings, and through these meetings, we will share the interim results of the project. And at the same time, we will hear the opinion of the key stakeholders in the area in order to set the priorities for further enhancing passenger mobility in the area. So that's all from my side. And of course, as for all other speakers, I'm available for any question if needed.
Thank you very much, Paolo. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm quite sure that we will have the opportunity to hear more about your pilots in the next presentations. So let's continue with the next presentation of MIMOSA project, the recommendations and proposed solutions adapted in the transport sector to cope with the COVID-19 restrictions and prevention measures. I will give the floor to Andrea Stocchetti from Ca' Foscari University.
Thank you so much.
We can see your presentation already.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you also to Paolo for the introduction. As Paolo, our coordinator, has said, the MIMOSA project has among the goals, the one that is to try to have a better knowledge of the demand. This was a task that was considered pretty normal before the start of the project. Then, as you know, a few months after the project has started, there has been the COVID pandemic, which has completely changed the perception and the framework of the overall work we were doing. Because of course, the pandemic, of all the projects that we have seen are more or less tackling a long-lasting problem, which is car dependency. Increase those pillars of sustainable mobility, which we call safety, accessibility, and trust. The point is that COVID pandemic, in my opinion, has completely changed the landscape. And apart from the restrictions that we are living in this very moment, there is a long tail phenomenon which would be due to what people would suffer about the fact that COVID pandemic has changed perception, and this will go beyond the typical restriction of the short period. So there is a need in our idea to shift from the emergency of the short term up to a long-term perspective. And in our perspective, of course, the key is the travel experience. And these are the points of the few things I'm going to tell you now. In our experience, the MIMOSA project is already doing, and together with the ICARUS project and all the Italy-Croatia program, is doing a lot in increasing the robustness of sustainability, even if COVID was not predictable, and it's not predicted. Of course, I'm not talking, when I talk about long tail phenomenon, I'm not talking about the immediate issues that have been provided by the pandemic. We know that the great risk of contagion has been tackled in a very effective way. After all, I would say, if we look at the whole picture, now that the pandemic is probably decreasing and hopefully disappearing, the cooperation between transport authorities, agencies, and experts in pandemic and medicine have been very strong, because Safety, accessibility, and trust have been guaranteed through all the pandemic, of course, in a situation which is not the normal one. But the measure that we know about, distance, masks, controls, and all are being very effective in limiting the diffusion of the pandemic. But on the other hand, this is not the long-term issues, because the perception of traveling in a certain way has created the condition for a lasting attitude, a lasting perception in travelers, which might be long-lasting. What do I mean by long-lasting? Well, look at this picture. This is not a real diagram, so there are not real fingers. This is just a picture that we are trying to show with this picture a phenomenon. So don't take this as something that we have actually measured. But we are working on this. In this very moment, as Paolo said, we are doing an investigation about how people change their habits and their perception of travel safety according to the COVID experience. And we noticed that if we just look at how people go back to using public transport, probably we wouldn't see that there is a perceived experience which is still negative. Here we say that after the COVID pandemic, we might see people going back to use public transport in all its forms, but this doesn't mean that people perceive this transport the same way they were perceiving it before. So it is not given for granted that there will be a return to trust and to a positive attitude towards the transport. So what shall we do about that? In the preparation of some of the works that we have done for MIMOSA and in preparation of this meeting, we have done a sort of review of which have been the recommendation that major international agencies and organizations has provided in order to, I would say, go back to normality. What shall we do to go back to a normal way of using public transport? There are many recommendations that you can find here. Of course, I just summarized the two major institutions that we can find in this sense, which is, of course, the Transport, Health and Environment Pan-European program, which is a program of the United Nations and specifically of the Commission for Europe, and of course the European Commission. These are the two most important institutions that have dealt with this problem. And they have provided a series of recommendations, of course, from the very short term to the long term. In the short term, reduce the need for mobility is the only way to, of course, create a condition in which people might be willing not to consider transport as a danger, because this is the point. People would consider public transport or sharing transport like a possible danger, like something which reduces safety and comfort. And as also the coordinator of MIMOSA and the coordinator of ICARUS have said before, we have the problem of the car dependency. There are too many people using the car. Unfortunately, this perception would last after the pandemic. People would be encouraged to use much more the private transport instead of the public one. So suggestions are to increase mobility management solution, to encourage micromobility, and so to develop also the development of mobility as a service, to increase all those possible in the short, medium term actions that would increase the capability of people to commute with a perception of safety. Of course, these two institutions that I mentioned here have a focus mainly on commuting. So we're not talking about traveling, and the behavior in long distance travels and behavior in commuting are very different, but I'll be back in a minute. Of course, these are short-term approach, but in a longer term, in a medium long term, there is the need to rethink the concept of accessibility, inclusiveness, and also to think about possible solutions which are extreme. Recently, in the European Union and in many organizations, we start talking about the 15-minute city, which is not an actual city, but it's the idea that you have access to major facilities and to major services in a distance that you can get without taking, the car or without taking motorized transport. So if we look at these, like this kind of recommendation that more or less are all in our knowledge, because we already know what is written here, how can we frame this into the Italy-Croatia program? Well, from my perspective and from what we have found in our analysis that we have done for the segmentation analysis of travelers, not only MIMOSA, but the whole program, and at least what I have seen here today about ICARUS and other programs that we have studied during our work, we noticed that there is a strong coherence between the single actions that have been decided and that are going to be taken or that are already taken, and the recreation of that safety, trust, and accessibility. Because whenever you provide an action which improve the connectivity of the first last mile, you are providing an action that push people to have the possibility of feeling, the possibility to move with public transport without having to use the car, for instance, for the connection, but I would say creating conditions that are comfortable. So I have seen pilots talking about improving services. This is definitely important. In our segmentation analysis, it comes out that improving services is not just a matter of comfort, it's a matter of recreating a better attitude, not to talk about a trouble-free and local e-mobility solution. The local e-mobility solution that I've seen here, like e-bikes, connections and all, give the possibility to move independently from those negative attributes that have been given to public transport after COVID. So in our opinion, and this is to conclude, although probably the majority of the action and the pilot of the Italy-Croatia program have been conceived before COVID, since they go in the direction of a higher sustainability, they create also a robustness for the capability of people to perceive a better way to move, even in an exceptional situation that has not been predicted. And this is somehow comfortable to us, because it means that sustainability at 360 degrees is something that provides a long-term benefit, independently from the fact that in 2 years we take away those electric bikes. But the concept of sustainable mobility will spread around the population and possibly will create a sort of awareness which goes beyond the typical communication campaign. It's an awareness that is created through the action and through direct tests, rather than just through the typical communication. So I would say that in our opinion, given this recommendation, the programs that we have seen, and also our program that is coordinated by Paolo, but also of course the ICARUS program coordinated by Leonora, and all the other programs are working in a way to overcome also the unexpected consequence and long-lasting consequence of the COVID pandemic. So thank you for attention. Of course, I would be happy to answer to any possible questions.
Thank you very much for this also very interesting presentation. As you know, there are a lot of programs like Interreg programs that also give the opportunity to many projects continue and be expanded in the way that they will let's say have the time to work on this post-COVID situation, and everything that is presented is really very, very interesting for all of us that will work on this project. And I'm quite sure that also MIMOSA will give a lot of input on that. So I have to go now to the next presentation of a MIMOSA project. I will give the floor to Dora Pavlovic to present us the ICT pilots website for cycle tourism in Dubrovnik, Neretva County, and info points on bike lanes. So Dora, the floor is yours. We cannot see the presentation. So Dora, can you hear us?
She said her microphone is not working, so she will try again.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
Okay. Oh, yes, I can see it now. Yeah. Of course. Okay. As I can see, there will be the presentation of Ivna. Ivna will present, Miss Ivna Shulia. So can Ivna hear us? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Can
So,
you
hello?
share the screen?
Yes, of course. So, can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes, we can see your presentation.
So, hello and greetings from the very sunny Dubrovnik to all of you. My name is Dora and today I will present you two of our activities in MIMOSA project. So, Dubrovnik-Neretva County participates as a project partner 11 in the MIMOSA project, and it's a leader of work package 5. So on this slide, you can see 5 activities which we are in charge for. In this presentation, we will talk about the website for cyclotourism in Dubrovnik-Neretva County and a set of solutions for upgrading bike lines in Dubrovnik-Neretva County. So this is the cross-section of the current state in Dubrovnik-Neretva County. Public transport does not support the arrival or stay of cyclists in Dubrovnik-Neretva region. Signalization for cyclists is uneven and it's set up largely in line with local initiatives. Safety conditions on certain sections are very dangerous. Service and rest areas and other ancillary services are not properly distributed. The supporting infrastructure for e-bikes has not been developed. So at the moment we have no info points for tourists in Dubrovnik-Neretva County. Under the name Eurovelo is a network of the European Cycling Federation, which since 1995 has been coordinating the development of networks of high-quality cycling routes that connect the whole Europe. As cyclotourism is developing in Dubrovnik-Neretva County, in accordance with the main goals and priorities from the action plan for the development of Croatian cyclotourism, in accordance with the vision and mission of the European Cycling Federations, the coordination body for Croatian cyclotourism development was established. The activities taken care of by the coordinating body related to infrastructure, legislation, education, cycling offer, and information such as marketing. State bicycle routes in the area of Dubrovnik-Neretva County. So we have 4 routes. D3 is the Dinar route, D4 Adriatic route, D9 Neretva-Slavonia route, and D10 route Adriatic Islands. So regarding the website for cycle tourism in Dubrovnik-Neretva County, in the area of Dubrovnik-Neretva County, there is not a single unified website with all the necessary information related to cycling in this area. So through this project, one of our activity is to make one unified website, so where all the needed data will be available in one place. Regarding the set of solutions for upgrading bike lines in Dubrovnik-Neretva County, currently in Dubrovnik-Neretva County, there are 22 bike lines of different lengths, which are not best suited for cyclists because we do not have info points where you can get help in case of a small accident, like charge an e-bike, tighten the chain, repair some smaller part, or get information about where a rest area is. Through this project, Dubrovnik-Neretva County plans to implement all this and thus popularize cycling, which is currently in full ground in Europe and also in Dubrovnik-Neretva County. Public procurement for this part of the project is planned for the next reporting period. By 2027, the horizontal and vertical bicycling signalization will be installed in the entire Dubrovnik-Neretva County, which will contribute to the safety of all traffic participants. Also, bicycle points will connect the entire Dubrovnik-Neretva region with the help of digital technologies. Through the project MIMOSA, Dubrovnik-Neretva County plans to reconstruct one of the existing buildings in the Konavle area, which will be the first cycling information center for the cyclists, which will serve as a pilot initiative to establish networks of information centers through the country. In the cycling information centers, cyclists will be able to get information about the whole area and about the trails, which will be in the line with their preferences. Furthermore, the offer will be presented through digital technologies, such as touch screens, where cyclists will be able to view the available cycling content in the county, the location of facilities that have implemented the cycling standards, and more. You will also find in the bicycle information center all necessary equipment for your bikes. Also, you will be able to wash your bike and to find necessary equipment. Cyclists will have an option of free water refilling, mobile phone charging, Wi-Fi connection, and other benefits for a more comfortable stay. On this slide, you can see the current state. On the left, you can see the current state of the building in the Konavle, and on the right side is a final project, how it will look after the MIMOSA project. The choice of this location, which was assessed by the operational plan, is currently a hub of local cycling routes. Exactly on that place, we have a lot of cyclists, which are recreational, amateur, and professional. So that will be all from Dubrovnik-Neretva County, and if you have any questions, feel free to chat us.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I'm quite sure that after these projects, there will be an opportunity for the cyclists to have a great tour in your area.
Yes, I hope so.
Thank you. So we're going to another presentation of MIMOSA project for a real-time information system in the port of Ancona. And I will give the floor to Elena Montironi from the Central Adriatic Port Authority.
Okay, thank you. Morning, everybody.
Hello.
I hope you can see my presentation.
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay, perfect. Yes, so good morning, everybody, and congratulations to all the speakers and the organizers of this conference for all the interesting presentations. My name is Elena Montironi from Central Adriatic Ports Authority, a partner of MIMOSA project. And in this presentation, I will first of all, just one moment. I will first of all present a little Central Adriatic Ports Authority, and in a particular way the passenger traffic at the port of Ancona, because our pilot action is focused on the objective to improve the smoothness of passenger traffic at the port. Okay, so Central Adriatic Ports Authority is an institution that exercises its competencies over 6 ports in the Adriatic coast of 2 Italian regions, Marche and Abruzzo. So the ports are the ports of Pesaro, Falconare and Ancona, which are considered as one, San Benedetto del Tronto, Pescara and Ortona. In total, in the year 2019, we managed nearly 12 million tons of goods and more than 1.2 million of passengers. And we are operating in a total 215 kilometers along the Adriatic coastline. With a particular attention to the port of Ancona. Ancona is the main port of the Central Adriatic Port Authority, is a core port of the of the European transport network. There are 6,500 people employed in the port, and in the year before the COVID crisis, there were nearly 2,000 ships calling at the port of Ancona, and 1,190,000 passengers, and nearly 11 million tons of freight as a port throughput, as I said, in the year 2019, so before the COVID crisis. In particular, the port of Ancona is an important port for the passengers and freight traffic and for the cruise sector. The Port of Ancona, given its position located at the center of the Adriatic Sea, Adriatic and Ionian Sea, is a gateway, is a terminal of the motorway of the sea. It means that it has a strategic position for the competitive transit time to reach Greece and then the Balkan countries. For this reason, there are very frequent departures for Greece, 3 companies operating 2 services, 1-2 departures per day, and it is the main Italian port connected to Croatia with the Italy-Croatia ferry traffic. In fact, we have 2 connections to Split and Zadar. And in addition, there are regular lines, ferry lines to Durrës in Albania. And here are again some information on international passenger traffic, because in the year 2019 we had nearly more than 1 million passengers on ferry boats to from Igoumenica Patras for Greece, Zadar and Split for Croatia, and ours in Albania. And then we have also a relevant cruise traffic in the 2019, in the pre-COVID period, of more than 100,000 passengers on the cruise ships coming from various nationalities. As concerning the goal of the pilot action, as I said, given this strategic role in terms of passengers flow crossing the Adriatic, especially in summer seasons, the aim is to decongest the passenger traffic in peak season, and through the implementation of new smart technological and advanced solutions to smooth passenger flows. In particular, you can see the photo, the image of the port, and we will implement our pilot action to the Schengen ferry gate, which is the main gate for ferry traffic to Schengen, to the Schengen countries, which is the most populated area of the port. And then we will implement the pilot action also at the ferry ticketing terminal, where all the passengers from all the nationalities have to go to make their ticket before boarding on the ships. One of the 2 pilot actions consists in the purchase and setting up of displays for real-time informations. Here in the photos you see displays in the road environment. We will purchase the same kind of displays for the port, and they will provide real-time information to passengers through modulated messages. It means that in case of urgency or emergency, or in case of delays, the message replicated to these displays can be updated by the operative room in the port, in order that the passengers are informed on real time on what is going on in the port, on the specific circumstances, and the message will be proposed in more languages, in Italian, Croatian, Greece and English. And so this will allow a more efficient communication to passengers. In addition, we needed to renovate the current display, which is because it is not as efficient and technological advanced as this new one. The second pilot action concerns the cable broadcasting system. In this building that you see highlighted in the map, this building is the ferry ticketing terminal. So in this terminal, we will provide a display for real-time information to passengers, and we will provide also this cable broadcasting system. It is a system of audio information in different languages, English, Italian, Croatian, and Greece, which has the objective to communicate urgent and emergency information to the passengers while they are waiting for queuing in the embarking, or while they're waiting for to prepare the ticket. And this is also with the aim to ensure security, increase the security level at the port of Ancona as concerning the passenger, and it can be. It is also useful for visually impaired people. So the benefit of the pilot action, in this phase, we are producing the project design of this infrastructure, this pilot action, also because these two technological devices will be integrated through a software integrator, in order that there will be a single software allowing to operate also from remote and in an autonomous way, to operate and to control the two kind of information system. So the benefit of the pilot action will be providing real-time information flow with the passengers, thanks to these new technological devices, and more efficient management of urgent and emergency information, which can be provided directly by security and operative office through an integrated and autonomous software. And moreover, there is an increased harmonization of passenger traffics because it can help, it can support more efficient connections inside and outside the port area, and so avoiding, for example, queuing too early in case of delay, and delay of the ships. And there is also a better management of traffic in the peak season, or as I said, in case of delays. So this is everything from my side. My name is Elena Montironi, and I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Montironi. We know very much the importance of your port in the intermodality, and of course I'm also speaking as Greek. We know very well how important it is for us to be able and to have a lot of information between the ports of Greece and Italy, and not only. So we are reaching the end of the presentation. The last but not least, from MIMOSA project again, we will hear Dennis Gracio from the ITL to present us the cooperative e-bike rental schemes along the Emilia-Romagna coast. Dennis?
Yes,
I give you the floor. Good morning.
Thanks, Maria. I try to share my screen because I have some informatic problem, but I try to.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it now.
Not yet. Now something, okay, now it's perfect.
Something happened. So thank you. I'm Dennis Grasso from ITL. Great. I think you already, Eleonora, presented our institution, so I go to our pilot. I use, as I'm the last one, I use a lot of photos. I know the responsibility to separate you from the lunch, so I go very fast on this pilot and focusing mainly on the first preliminary results we have on this particular pilot. As evidenced also in other cases, as for example, the case of IDA, we started also in MIMOSA project from another experience, and in particular from the experience we had in the MOSIS project 3 years ago. Was a very challenging pilot also 3 years ago, as we tried to provide last mile services for cruisers. So we try to provide a service, and we provide a service for the tourist arriving in Ravenna cruise port. Was a very interesting experiences, both from the practical point of view and in a second moment also from the scientific point of view, because we wrote some papers where we analyze the things that are working about these pilots, but also the problems. So the MIMOSA pilot, in this case, it's a way to also work more on the business model of these kind of services. So e-bike sharing services for tourists, so for the last mile solution. So when tourists arrive at his destination, and we try to create something of reliable and attractive. So something, an intermodal solution that can fit also the tourist needs. But the other challenge is not only to provide a service, a sustainable service to tourists, but also to collect data for improving the way the public authorities can plan not only this kind of services, but also the behaviors of the tourists in these areas. So we started from this experience, but we reinvented a little bit this pilot. So we have already some electric bikes, but we have to change area. We are not very far to the Ravenna port, and we launched these services on June. And I think is interesting. It's a first interesting aspect we already collected is the cooperation among different partners and local actors. And in these photos, for example, you can see we have Emilia-Romagna region representative, we have Cervia mayor, so a representative from the local level. There is ITL as coordinator of this experience, and we have also hotels in this case. So also we have also the touristic part that helping us in providing these services. So this only some number about this pilot. So we have 32 electric bike. Each bike have also some safety equipment. So we have helmets, we have lock systems. In order to provide this service, we define a large cooperation scheme among also the local hotels, and these local hotels are selected for their high sustainability standards. So these hotels are selected because they also have other measures related to sustainable tourism. So not only from the mobility point of view, but also, for example, for the energy procurement. So also have, for example, some contract for green energy for their hotels. So we selected these hotels, that is where these bikes are provided. Each hotel manage and share 2 bikes. And each bike is monitored by a GPS system. So each bike has this GPS system that have 2 different scopes, because we can monitor this bike, but also, for example, manage if there is some security problem or if there is some stolen or something. So this GPS is not only to collect data, but also to provide a safe service to the tourist. We have also an online platform that allows us from ITL to have a general overview of this pilot, and also to check that the bike are effectively rented and shared with the tourist. So this is the general scheme of our pilots. These bikes are are delivered to the tourist for free. This is quite obvious. This is some preliminary results because we started in the end of June, so we are quite at the beginning of our pilot, but we already collected a lot of data, mainly from the GPS. So we have here some screenshot from the platform where we have an overview of the pilot. So all the 32 bikes are in the area of Cervia and Milano Marittima. And for example, you can see in the right, this is only one bike in 1 day. So we collected a lot of data among related to the path these tourists have during his session. We collected in these first 2 months a lot of data, so we have a lot of data. This is only preliminary overview, so you can see this is all the data collected since now in a very large area, because I don't know if you know this Cervia area, but this is more than 35 kilometers. So we have a lot of data. And now we are working also to starting with elaboration of this data, because as the service at the moment is very successful, we collected a lot of data. So also the management of the data is not so easy. So we are working in these weeks and probably in the next month to elaborate this data in order to interesting data for the planning, because we want to provide a reliable service to the tourist, but we also have the ambition from some point of view also to provide new, we hope, planning tools also for understanding the path, where the tourists go, which kind of trip have in this area. So we think this could be also a very important tool from the knowledge point of view. In the right side, it's only a screenshot. I'm sorry, because we are still working on this data. But this screenshot is also to show the added value for to have an electric bike. And I think then the added value are two. One, it's these kind of services could be something interesting also for the old people. So for people that have also problem to use a normal bike. So an electric bike can help in some way also to use this kind of solution. And the second probably good point for this kind of services is the possibility also to normal people to have long distances, as in the example here in the right. Probably you don't know the area, but it's a very long, I think it's something more than 35 kilometers made to have a return trip. So electric bike have also this advantage to give the opportunity also to have longer trips, so to not use the car for this longer trip. So this is only some preliminary consideration about our pilot, but we will implement the pilot also next year. So we are really in the beginning of this experience. So we think it's very important also to work on this public-private cooperative scheme. Is not easy. We know it needs a lot of energy to manage a governance scheme, but we think it could be a very good solution to arrive in the right way to the final users. The importance of data, sometimes big data, because this kind of data collection generate really a very huge amount of data, but if well managed, we think we can we can collect an added value for the planning purposes. And first of all, we started with Moses project. We are also testing here light electric vehicles as one of the solution we can use to reach intermodal solution at local level. So it could be a reliable and effective services to provide together with the public transport good services for sustainable travels for tourists in the last mile travels. This is all from my side, and for any questions, I'm available.
Thank you very much, Dennis. That was the last presentation of this event. Okay, we have some minutes. I cannot see any questions in the chat box. So, of course, I'm quite sure that all the presenters are available even after this event for answering any questions. I know that intermodality is and will be one crucial issue for further research and further development. And I really know that many Interreg projects are working on that direction. And of course, I have to congratulate the 3 projects for the very, very good work and the very good results that were presented during this event. As I'm not part of this project, but I know very well how useful are all these results and pilots. I'm quite sure that in the end, you will really have excellent results not in the regional, but also in the national and European level. As we heard from all of you for all the 3 projects, I believe that we all know that intermodality, it's a matter, first of all, of the stakeholders, let's say, collaboration, because there are many stakeholders who must understand the problem, and I know that we are in a good direction on that issue. But of course, they have to collaborate together, change their current business policies or the current business plans. They should be technological ready and gain some more capacity for addressing all these issues of intermodality. And of course, they should also allocate some funds for new technologies and for new development, for new infrastructures. Then I believe, as we already heard, okay, even if we have the let's say the modes, we can have the trains, we can have the boats, who can have the technologies and the infrastructures for bikes or for other soft measures to be transferred by these boats and the trains. Then when we will have the last mile, the destination, let's say, one very crucial issue, if we want to have the sustainable intermodality, there would be the infrastructures in our areas between the cities or inside our touristic areas and cities, especially when we are talking about bikes. I heard a lot of good pilots. I really like very much that you took your bikes, let's say, and there are all the projects really have a very specific, let's say, experience of what is needed from your touristic areas in order to upgrade the safety and the infrastructures for the bike, and not only the bike, but also for micromobility or even for walking. And this is of course something that can be discussed with the authorities, the relevant authorities. Of course, when we all heard about intermodality, we are all thinking about the technology and about provision of information for the passengers. We heard a lot again. We know that you will develop platforms and many relevant applications for this integration of information, which is still something that must be done centrally, especially when you have a region, even if this is touristic or not. I mean, in Greece, we have a lot of problem of having too many channels of information, and maybe all of them, I believe it's the same in most touristic areas. Maybe we should provide one central, let's say, database for giving information to the passengers and the visitors. And of course, we all know that if we want to achieve intermodality, then we need this integration of ticketing. We need one-stop shop with information, ticketing, let's say tickets not only for the transport modes, but also for all the other services that a visitor will need from an area. But don't forget, of course, and I know that I've heard a lot about it in your presentations, that we need the behavioral change. We need the people to trust us, that we say that, okay, you should change your behavior, you should go to sustainable solutions, you should go back to biking, to walking, you should use public transport modes. And of course, I have to close this up with what already mentioned, and it's very crucial that after this situation, after this pandemic situation, we should again trust the public transport modes. We should again go back to our habits. We should not restart, let's say, to use our private vehicle, because this is the case, at least in many cities in Greece. And maybe we should use this opportunity as an opportunity for promoting, of course, biking, walking, or even the micromobility modes. But let's say that somehow we should all work together for creating the environment that the passengers will go back to the public transport. And this is for sure a very big step for all of us, that we are going to implement some projects and in that direction. Thank you very much, all of you, for this presentation, for this event. I don't know if someone wants to say something from the three projects, maybe some words for some last words for this event. Paolo, Eleonora.
Yes, I would like just to thank all the participants. I think we had a lot of inspiration by all the presentations today, and I think that we can further promote our actions again in the months to come in order to support this behavioral change that we are all working for. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Paolo.
Yeah, also from my side and from all the ICARUS partnership, I would like to thank everyone for your participation. And also we do hope that this kind of synergies among projects can really be long-lasting and help in the dissemination and in the communication of our results. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eleonora. Is also Stefan or someone from ICANN to say a few words for the closing of the event? Okay, maybe not.
I would like also to thank you in particular, Maria, for moderating this event, and also a special thank also to the interpreters that have supported us during this morning session. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. We will be in touch, and I will follow your projects to see what you will implement as final results, and of course to cooperate with some projects that we are developing. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.